If you are looking for an absolute masterclass in small-town contemporary romance and emotional hurt comfort that takes a fiercely determined single mother running from a toxic past and pairs her with a broad-shouldered, brooding Montana rancher, you need to clear your calendar for Devney Perry. We are heading out into the sweeping, majestic, and completely therapeutic landscapes of Quincy, Montana for Juniper Hill, the deeply moving, highly addictive, and utterly spectacular second installment in the celebrated The Eden series. Let's lay out the strategic narrative grid. If you love stories where a grump of a hero operates with a cold, defensive perimeter before dropping his walls to become an elite, fiercely possessive alpha caregiver, where an tight forced proximity arrangement inside a cozy loft apartment forces two lonely souls to collide, and where hidden acts of protection build an unbreakable bond of trust, this book is engineered to lock you in. Perry strips away superficial romance formulas to deliver a narrative that handles motherhood, survival, and raw, tender passion with exquisite cinematic care. The narrative introduces us to Memphis Ward, a young woman who has spent her life trapped inside a high society cage before a devastating crisis forced her to pack up her newborn son and run. Memphis lives behind an airtight, high-security emotional perimeter. Penniless, exhausted, and fiercely independent, she arrives in Quincy looking for a fresh start. Taking a job as a housekeeper at the sprawling Eden Ranch, she wants nothing more than to build a quiet, safe sanctuary where she can raise her baby boy without ever relying on anyone else again. Enter Knox Eden. He is the ultimate elite small-town alpha protector, the towering, heavily muscled, and notoriously surly chef who runs the local inn. Knox is a man of rigid schedules, clinical culinary precision, and absolute isolation. He values his privacy above all else, and his initial encounters with Memphis are charged with a grumpy, defensive friction when he discovers his well-meaning family has rented out the loft apartment above his garage to the new housekeeper and her crying infant. The spark ignites when the realities of close-quarters living and late-night baby watches breach Knox's icy exterior. The second he looks past Memphis's defensive walls and witnesses her monumental resilience and absolute devotion to her son, his fierce caregiver instincts lock on with absolute, unwavering certainty. Turning from an absolute grump into a fiercely possessive protector, Knox systematically steps into her world, secretly stocking her kitchen, handling midnight seatings, and establishing a secure perimeter around her fragile peace. But when the dangerous shadow from Memphis's high-profile past tracks her down to Quincy, breaching her personal security perimeter, the town's most protective son will unleash his full power, family influence, and dominant protective instincts to shield his new family from harm. It is a small-town contemporary romance, single-mom hurt comfort, grumpy sunshine, forced proximity garage loft, alpha caregiver masterpiece that balances breathless physical chemistry with staggering emotional depth. The chemistry here burns with an absolute slow simmering heat. We are talking about that high-frequency I will stand as a shield between you and the world energy, where trust is fiercely earned through quiet, domestic acts of devotion. The verbal sparring matches between them are top tier, a brilliant mix of her sharp, resilient wit and his relentless, fiercely possessive actions. Perry writes with an exceptionally fresh, vivid, and highly comforting voice that perfectly captures the tight-knit loyalty of a small town, the exhaustingly beautiful reality of motherhood, and the overwhelming sanctuary found in true love. What truly elevates this series installment into elite romance territory is Perry's exceptional ability to write genuine psychological depth. Memphis isn't a fragile damsel waiting to be casually saved. Her grit is monumental, and Knox's role as a protector is to provide the ultimate safe space she deserves to finally let her guard down. The pacing moves with calculated momentum, tracking their deep emotional bonding and domestic proximity before ratcheting up the stakes as a major external confrontation forces an all-out defense of their home. Juniper Hill is the definitive, high-tier upgrade your contemporary romance and hurt comfort library demands right now. It is deeply moving, intensely passionate, and beautifully redemptive. It proves that when the storms of life threaten to tear you apart, the strongest anchor in the world is the unyielding arms of a hero who has chosen you as his absolute mission. So lock your doors, set your Kindle to full brightness, and prepare to be completely swept away by Knox Eden.